We're going to have a little tiny view today. I just have to make sure I sit properly. Who am I if you can't see my hands while I'm talking, you know? Because it's like I have them out. I have them out and no one can see. You can see my hands? Because I can't see. I can only see right here and it's cut off. I keep trying to put them in frame. It's just so funny doing it like this. I usually show it up here and it's like, I feel like I don't have real estate for that. So this is card number 1. You're trying to sense in your body. Do you have any sort of knowing or draw to the first reading more or less than the second reading? And it's just an opportunity to practice hearing guidance and support for yourself. Like, will this resonate more with me? And if you are sensing some sort of combination of both, then just write that as well. And also optional if you want to include how that energetic difference came through. So I'm going to show them one more time. So this is card number 1. And then card number 2. I'm immediately seeing like flashing pictures, flashing lights, like it feels like it's about attention. It's about where your is it about where your attention is, your attention being on you? For some people it's both. For some people it's getting comfortable being it's coming in like being like looked at, like being observed. It's not even about being seen authentically for who you are. It's just the fact that people are like, this sounds creepy, but the fact that people are watching you, like just that you have their attention, how you are being, what you're saying, what you're doing, like you're catching some eyes, if you will. There's a couple different options if you're sitting in this energy where it's like if you're more in like the zigging versus zagging camp, it feels like a little bit more playful, or like you're trying to like teach people a lesson, like teaching people like expecting the unexpected, or again, it's like turning things on their head and like for some sort of a greater purpose or lesson about what they're believing or not believing or something like that, like about like perceptions, very Neptunian. But then the other one is, it feels a little bit more like lecture teaching, like, oh, like, great, I can share this thing, I can explain this concept, I can convey something that is really important. This is great. And so really trying to harness it. Chara, oh my gosh, that resonates. I'm starting feeling something because people I know discovered I have ASMR channel. Oh, perfect example. It's like this thing that you have been doing, your message or interest or hobby or side hustle or whatever it is, all of a sudden there's eyes on you and people have an awareness. And it's like, okay, what do you do with that? You could say, well, I'm going to make some different kinds of videos now that I'm knowing like I'm going to do something that's unconventional, that's maybe like not in the normal category for ASMR. I'm going to do the zigging when someone thinks I'm going to zag. I'm going to have it be something that's playful. Or you could take it as an opportunity to try to educate these people that have found your channel. Like you could do a video or a post or something talking about like misconceptions about it or sharing how you got into it. So there's a lot of different ways that it can be approached. I'm getting that it's like then we have more space and it feels like it's we're taking up more space or we've created more space around us. So it could be making space by clearing some of these people out who like aren't really on the path that you're on now and the thing that you are doing and that you're becoming known for. And then there's also the expansion piece. So you are taking up more space. So you're in the spotlight, you have the attention on you, and you're actually able to kind of grow and get bigger rather than shrinking into it. Because that was the initial thing. It was like you're getting more comfortable. So it's like as you get more comfortable, like you can do a little bit more, you can be a little bit more, say a little bit more. Like preparing for abundance. Like when you create space, so if you're manifesting, when you create space, then you have an opening. Now something can come in. So if you're all booked up, if you're all filled and you have no time, you have no physical space, then how can something new come in? Something else has to exit. This is the resistance card. I meet resistance with kindness in front of my face. Is that better? I guess that is better. Thanks, Vicky. So meet resistance with kindness. When this card comes up, which I think this is actually a really nice compliment to what we're talking about here. I wasn't making the connection right away. She has to relax into it. And she has to be kind to herself instead of like, oh, like I'm never gonna get flexible, I'm never gonna be able to touch my toes in this forward fold, or get my head down to the ground. That doesn't actually help you get there. So in some ways, it's like a positive self-talk situation. It's like, you can do this, like you've got this, but then it's breathing into it as well. For anyone who does any sort of a yoga practice or physical practice, this is true. You have to breathe so intentionally. You're like, I'm focusing on breathing into my left hip right now so that it can relax. Like it's such, the mind is really, really important. So some of this is the mind body connection when you're talking about the physical resistance or things that you are holding on to. But when we're talking about this is a shift. This is being in the spotlight and being seen, whether it is for your authentic self or not. It's just the fact that you are being seen. You may have some resistance to that, but making sure that you continue to pump yourself up. And then this point about making space. It's a great way, making space. You're making space in your muscles in this example by relaxing, by using the breath, by opening up, by visualizing, by leaning into trust. I'm seeing somebody like it's like they're rubbing a stick together, like that kind of like campfire thing where like they're rubbing the stick between their hands and they're trying to create the spark, the friction and everything for a fire. So you're just seeing like the little wispies of smoke from the friction of it, but it hasn't actually created the spark yet. It hasn't started the fire. It's just trying to coax it. Encouragement to be mindful of overexertion or being a lost cause. Like maybe you're trying to rub these sticks together for a really long time and you're starting to get really tired and it's not working and you frayed it so much it's not even going to be effective. So either like you have to start over, you have to start in a different spot, or use some different tools, try a different strategy. Be mindful of how long you're sinking in to this project or this investment or this thing that you're doing, and knowing when it's time to table it or stop or start over or try something new. Just because it's not sparking and taking off right away doesn't mean it's not worth doing and it's not worth investing the time in. It's just about the time in something that's not effective. Or maybe the encouragement is like, oh, the reason that the spark isn't happening now is because it's a little bit too soon. Like when you realize, you know what, this isn't really working. I'm just gonna stop. And then you go back and you revisit. And then even if you try again 2 days later, great, 2 days later, it's more in alignment. It doesn't even feel like you're aware of maybe jumping the gun because you're not necessarily doing something too soon. It's just that in the divine timing of things, it might be like a hair too soon. I'm just getting it's about the currency of your time. It's the value of your time as currency, where you're choosing how you're spending it, how you are investing it. If you're not getting a return with that exchange, then reevaluating the value of your time, where you are allocating it, how you are spending it, whether you want to invest elsewhere, whether you want to hold off, invest again later, change what you're paying for it. These different money metaphors. This is the rebirth card. I shed habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. I'll put it in front of my face now. So on this card, it's a snake bundled up with a crescent moon, some flowers. So the idea here is that a snake shedding its skin. So it's the rebirth piece. So we're getting rid of what doesn't serve us. And the reason I was saying this is so interesting, I'll compare more later, but I do feel like there is a pretty strong tie here with the energy of that first card as well. Like they really work together, and like they're both very deep and symbolic and have layers to them. Obviously here we're deciding about what layers we want to keep and get rid of, but we did have a little bit of shedding and clearing actually come up with the first one as well, which is what's interesting. I shed habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. So what we've been talking about here is starting a fire, which is sparking. Wands energy, that's the beginning. That is the renewing. That's the starting piece. And then your time, how your time is spent. So it's hindering my truth. Well, what is your truth about your value, your project, the thing that you're doing? It seems like the emphasis here is on the truth. Habits is time spent. How is my time being spent? Perfect. This is really picking up on everything. The piece that's not picked up, I would say, in this reading is the release piece. But like I said, I talked about that with the first reading, which is why I think it's interesting how these are kind of like slotting into each other. So let me just see if there's anything else that we want to add here. But even just like the visual of something, it's like the phoenix, similar with the rebirth piece. Something being burned, so you could burn it down and then come from the ashes. So like a lot of this like fire imagery, I think also works with the rebirth as well. It feels like there's one tiny little button on this reading to add. So let's see what else. Where we left off was, it might just not be the divine timing. So what do we need to know by the end of this week? I'm getting something about day 4 or 5. So day 4 or 5 from now. Today's day 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So something about Thursday, Friday. Something to keep in mind about Thursday, Friday, depending on your time zone. What do we need to know for this time? That's the inflection point. That's the time where you're deciding, am I tabling this? Am I stopping? Am I using new tools? Am I starting over? So then you have a few days to kind of make your other attempt or just sit on it and then decide when you're making your next attempt to have this beginning, to have this start. First reading was lights flashing. You are in the spotlight. You suddenly have people's attention. And now, what are you going to do with that? This is a process of getting more comfortable with being seen. And I want to make a differentiation here. That's not necessarily that you are being seen for your authentic self. It's just that people are looking at you, that you have their attention for whatever reason. And you have the option to flip the script on them, zig when they think you're going to zag. And it's a kind of playful way of teaching them a little bit of a lesson, expecting the unexpected so they can understand things aren't always what they seem, not judging a book by its cover, etc. And option 2 is oh, great, I have people's attention. Let me teach them. Let me explain. Let me share my messages, things that are important so that they can really understand where I'm coming from, the thing that I'm doing, what I'm working on, etc. 2 different energies, but they are both having an outcome of informing the audience of the people that are suddenly looking at you. And then the last piece was making space. And this making space is either clearing by shedding. So when you were doing this, there's going to be some people who decide to walk away that aren't interested. Great, we don't need them because they're not on board with the journey that you're on right now. So they can exit stage left. Fine by us. And then there's also the option to expand. You're in the spotlight, you're getting comfortable with the spotlight, and you're like, oh, okay, I can do a little bit more. I can say a little bit more. I can say that, with my chest. And it's that confidence booster and increase. And then also it's making space around you to prepare for abundance, prepare for receiving. So it's manifestation principles. And the card that we had with this one was the resistance card. I meet resistance with kindness. Ooh, there we go. I meet resistance with kindness. And what we were talking about with this card is that when we have tension, when we are holding on to something, it restricts the flow. So the energy can't flow. We can't have things coming in and out. If we want to get into that tough asana, if we're talking about from the yoga perspective, we have to breathe into it. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to have that positive self-talk. I can do this. This is great. I'm making progress. Working with our breath so that we can actually release that tension and then we can lean in more. We can keep going. And when we're talking about this project, this thing that we're doing, it's we can apply that to our comfort in the spotlight. So we're uncomfortable necessarily being seen from the jump, breathing into it, leaning into it, embracing it, harnessing it, and then just making sure that we have that positive self-talk through the whole process. If people leave, they're not meant for us. I'm following this passion, this interest. It's something that's helping people. It's not hurting anyone. It's helping me to learn and grow, etc. It's the interplay between the physical, between the mind, and then kind of connecting with everyone else. It's about perception happening at the same time as well. So when we can let go of not doing something because of the fact that we're being watched and you kind of tense up, oh, someone's watching me, we tense. So how can we relax into that and keep going? And when we relax, we expand, we take up more space. So that's reading number one. Reading number two, this is we're rubbing the sticks together at a campfire. We're trying to get the fire to start. We have a little bit of smoke coming out of it, but it's not really going anywhere. So we're coaxing, and the encouragement is to be mindful this week of how long you're spending on trying to get the fire to start. Because if we're overexerting ourselves, if we end up just wearing down the wood and whatever other surfaces we're using, and it's just, if it's not working, then we have to be able to check ourselves. And the recommendation that was coming in was around day 4 or 5, which is likely, depending on your time zone, Thursday or Friday of this week. That's the inflection point. That's the time to decide. Should I just stop? Should I not be doing this? Is this not worth my time? Should I table this? Come back to this later. You know what? This isn't working. I'm getting tired. And it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I'm spinning my wheels. Should I try something new? Should I use different tools? Or should I just do something totally different? I thought this is what I wanted to do. It's not working. Why don't I do something else entirely? Pivot. And that's because what we are evaluating this week and probably in and around the same exact time is the fact that time is currency. Our time is valuable. Our efforts are valuable. The thing that we are doing, it's not that it is not valuable if it's not kicking off when we want. It just might be that there isn't the divine timing. Maybe we needed to pause for a day, and then maybe we try again on Sunday and it works and we start, and that's fine. Or maybe not. Maybe we take a little bit longer and we start again later, or we do something different. So it's understanding what our value is, making sure that we are allocating the time that is worth our time and for ourselves, and that we're getting something back. We're having the exchange, the validation for our efforts. So it's not a one-sided and we're just draining ourselves. And the card that we had was the rebirth card. I shed my habits that hinder my truth. I release and renew. And what we were talking about with this card is the fact that there is the renewal piece, the spark, the renewing, starting something new, very much aligns with the imagery of trying to get that fire to go. The shedding the habits, it's okay, this thing that I'm doing, this tactic I'm trying isn't working. Should I try something else? connecting to my truth. What's my value? What do I have to offer? Is this working? Is this not working? Being honest with yourself about it. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is launch that new thing. But if something isn't working, we got to release it. We got to let that go. So my thoughts on these two cards together. I see no reason that you can't have both of these happening simultaneously. That being said, we're keeping in mind with reading number 2 that we had the Thursday, Friday marker. So it could mean that if you are a delayed start on this one, let's say you start here, you're getting comfortable in the spotlight. There's something that you've already been doing that suddenly people are paying attention to. And then you're getting comfortable with that. You're like, oh, let me try something new. Now that I have people's attention, I'm going to do my zig when people think I'm going to zag. And that's you rubbing your sticks together. And then it doesn't seem to be working. Like, so again, there's ways that you could have these pop into each other, but then it's still the Thursday, Friday is how it's coming in. It's still the Thursday, Friday that at that point is like when you're deciding, okay, should I have done that? Like, is that worth my time? Maybe I should just go back to doing the normal thing. I'm just going to go back to kind of teaching what I want to share. I don't have to be clever about it, So that just shows you there could be so many different routes. I'm just highlighting one as an example. But I definitely get the sense that you could do both of these together. You could just be doing one. You can be moving into, from one into the other. It seems most likely that you would be moving from the getting comfortable in the spotlight, being seen piece into this one versus the other way around. That's how that feels to me. It feels very unlikely that you start here and then you move here. As far as the visuals go, I was also struck by, because not all the cards are this way, but both of these had kind of like the big circle. So this one had the new moon, and then this one had the crescent, but it's still over a big circle in the middle. They both had some creature imagery happening. We had the butterfly, kind of like back of the neck tattoo, which, as a quick comparison, oh my gosh, so similar. The journey of the caterpillar to the butterfly is also a very similar comparison to what we consider for snakes, where it has that rebirth energy. It goes through a transformation and it becomes something new. No wonder these are connected to each other. So imagery wise, like that's why they kind of feel like they are of a similar vibe. And because of I mentioned the depth of these cards. So this, I meet resistance with kindness. This is serious work. This is like, okay, I'm battling with myself. It's my mind, body, and all the factors around me, and having to recalibrate all of that and lean in and keep going. And then for this other one, the rebirth isn't just like woke up and I'm a different person. You have to do stuff. You have to put in some work. You have to let go of what's not serving you. You have to have the vision. You have to connect to your authentic self. So both of these are requiring some lift between the two of them. Year of the Snake. That's true. So for the Chinese zodiac, Year of the Snake. I also noticed the yogi has a butterfly tattoo, also Shutter Trend. Okay, yes, great. We were saying the same thing. Yep. Oh, and I'm also going to be in a book. So if anyone's interested, I wrote a chapter in a multi-author book that's all about spiritual awakening. So if you want to get the book or read my chapter, that's also, I added that last week. I added that into the link as well. So I've had the book because as an author, we get it, and I haven't read it yet because I've been so busy. So I just have it sitting there on my Kindle, just chilling, waiting to be read. So I'm really looking forward to reading everybody's chapters and like reaching out to everyone. So yeah, so if you are interested in that, I keep forgetting, but that is coming out. The actual book comes out a week from today on the 12th. Paperback or hardcover come out next week. Otherwise, it's ebook, and then eventually, which I'm so excited about, we're going to be recording an audiobook. And I'm like, hello, I got my microphone. I know how to do audio editing because I do that for my podcast. I'm like, I'm so excited to record my chapter. So we're going to be doing that like much later in the year. Soul Rising, Guidance for Navigating Your Spiritual Awakening. That's the name of the book. It's a little purple cover and has a butterfly. Speaking of butterflies, it has a butterfly on it. And again, details on that are on my website, on my socials. If you are protesting Amazon right now, then don't fret. You just don't pre-order. Just wait until the book comes out and you can buy it from wherever you would like to buy it from. Thank you, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I just realized what day it is. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And have a great rest of your week. Next time I will click more carefully so that I'm not in such a tight little frame here. I'm kind of shocked that that hasn't happened. I've been doing these classes for like 6 months, 7 months now. And I can't believe that I've never clicked too quickly and had the tiny window, but here we are.